Hey yo, how y'all doing? This is your girl Tashi, and I am back with another video. Yes, we're back with another one. And this one is, this kid is a serial killer. Oh my gosh. What did he do? What did he do?
So this kid, his name's Graham, and Graham is just weird. All right, so Graham is 14, and he's obsessed with, of all things, poison. He reads a lot about poisons at home. He's always looking at chemistry and toxicology books at school and at the local library. Kid's just a weird ass. But one day, Graham decides that just reading about poison isn't enough. He needs to get his hands on some. And so he goes to the local chemist, and he convinces the chemist that he's actually older, 17, and that he needs some chemicals for study purposes for school. And so the chemist gives him access to some antimony, some digitalis, some arsenic, and some thallium. Hope I said all that right. And now...
How old he was? What year? When was this? How he's allowed to get his hands on some of these things? I don't know how harmless these things. I mean, obviously, got to be harmless. But where was his parents? What?
Now Graham has everything he needs to start poisoning people, which he does. He poisons one of his classmates at school by sprinkling some lead acetate on his cookies and cakes, and the kid ends up barfing all over the place. He also starts poisoning his family at home, sneaking...
But, I mean, did they die? Like, what? When was that? Yo, I'm still stuck on the fact that he's only, what, did they say 14 or 16? No, 14, gotta be 14. I'm still stuck. So what happened?
Their dinners and their drinks, and his family starts getting these weird bouts of sickness off and on, like random stomach pain and diarrhea. He even poisons himself a couple of times. Probably sometimes by accident, but also probably sometimes to avoid suspicion. Like, he doesn't want to be the only one in his family not getting sick. Like, that looks suspect. Now, Graham's sister, who we'll just call Sister, she gets lucky. She manages to mostly escape getting poisoned because she usually eats at her boyfriend's house, not at home. But one day, Graham manages to poison her too. He sneaks a belladonna, a toxic plant, into her tea. And so she gets sick, really sick. And they rush her to the hospital, and the doctors are like, yeah, girl, you were poisoned. Now, at this point, both Graham's dad and sister, they believe that Graham had something to do with Sister getting poisoned. I mean, how could they not? He's a weird-ass kid obsessed with poison. But dad and sister think that Graham probably just poisoned her by accident, like he was just goofing around. Now, I don't know how someone would...
No. You know that, no, I would not eat or drink anything from that house. You wouldn't, first of all, I don't want you near me. Because how do you explain this to your parents? Like, even the father, even though it was the father and the daughter, how do you explain to a parent, say, I believe that he's trying to kill us? They're not trying to hear that, because that's their son. They love him. Regardless of what, they love their son. But as a sister, I'd be like, yeah, y'all go ahead and mess around and eat food around this kid. I don't know. I come and see him, but I'm not eating or drinking nothing around him. Oh, no.
Accidentally poison someone.
No.
Okay. Anyway, then, a few months later, Graham's stepmom gets really sick, because he's been poisoning her with antimony and eventually thallium. So they rush her to the hospital, and later that night, stepmom dies. This weird-ass kid just unalived his own stepmom. And because her death is kind of sudden and mysterious, doctors have no idea that she was poisoned. They assume she died...
All right, I don't understand this. Okay, this is a make-up story or something. I'm not understanding. Somebody explain this to me. Because from the time the kid got sick at school, right? I'm assuming he went to the doctor and they told him that he was poisoned. There was no trace. These things are not documented inside the database. Like, I'm not understanding how no one found this suspicious. Where was the police from the time when I'm so confused. Someone explain this one to me. I'm so confused.
From a bus accident she got into a while back. I mean, this all went down in the 60s, so I guess the practice of medicine just wasn't where it is now.
Oh. You see, I was like, okay, this has to be from back in the days, because I'm sitting here trying to figure out how it was so easy, like, and no one did it. Okay, so this make way more sense to me now. This was back in the days in the 60s. They didn't have all the medical equipments that we have today. Because I was about to say, how the hell is he getting away with this?
Meanwhile, Graham has been poisoning his dad this whole time too. And so then dad, he gets extremely sick, and then he gets put in the hospital. Now at this point, some people are getting suspicious about Graham. particularly his science teacher at school. So science teacher goes and he searches Graham's school desk one day, and bam, he finds bottles of poison and notes about other infamous poisoners. And so he reports this to the headmaster of the school, and they get in touch with the family doctor, and they all agree that they gotta go call the police because Graham is obviously up to some shady shit. And so police, they go arrest him, and he admits to poisoning his father, his sister, and his classmate. And so at 14 years old, he gets admitted to Broadmoor, a psychiatric hospital, and he's one of the youngest patients to ever be admitted there. So, congratulations? But even while he's locked up there in Broadmoor, he's still low-key poisoning people. Like, some of the staff and the patients sometimes find that their drinks have been tampered with. One of the fellow inmates ends up dying with cyanide in his system. Like, some shady stuff. Regardless, years go by, and Graham, he wants out of this place. And over time, he gets really good at lying and hiding his obsession with poisoning people. And this, unfortunately, works. After 8 years in the psychiatric hospital, when he's 23 years old, he finally gets released. And he immediately goes right back to poisoning people.
He's a demon. Y'all can't tell me otherwise. He's a demon. Okay, that's a demon right there. The fact that he enjoys killing people. He knows he's killing people, basically. He's not just poisoning them, he's killing them. He enjoys it. He has this weird obsession of seeing people get sick. He's obsessed with this. Someone's mentally wrong, and you would think after 8 years, he would be like, all right, you know what? I'm not doing this no more. He went right back to poisoning people after 8 years. 8 years? We're not talking about a year or 2 years. 8 years. 8 years. And he still went right back doing this.
He starts staying in a hostel where he poisons people there. Then he gets a job in a photography supply business, and he starts spiking his coworkers' tea and coffee, and they all get sick. Then he poisons his manager at work, and manager gets really sick and dies. Then another coworker of his gets sick, and this coworker is admitted to the hospital, and within about 2 weeks, boom, he dies. But this time, the doctors are pretty sure he ingested something toxic. Meanwhile, the management at the photography supply business, they're all getting suspicious. Like, why are we all getting sick all of a sudden? And they start an internal investigation. So the company's medical officer comes to the store to talk with the staff, and he tells the staff, I don't think you guys were actually poisoned. And Graham is there, and he starts arguing with the medical officer. Like, of course they were poisoned. I mean, look at all their symptoms. Like he was there defending his work or something. And so the medical officer realizes that Graham has a suspiciously deep knowledge of poisons. And he tells management.
So if he didn't say anything, he could have got away with it. He could have got away with it. Why is he defending this? This whole story is just weird to me. I've heard some stories, but this one is just weird.
And management contacts police. So eventually police search Graham's house, and there they find poisons and diaries detailing all of his crimes.
It's like he wants to get caught.
Kapow, he gets arrested. And I don't have a mugshot, but here's how he looked in real life. And so eventually Graham goes to trial, and he's ultimately sentenced to life in prison. Weird ass.
Yeah, he looks evil. He looks evil. If that's his real picture, he looks evil. What in the... But then, like I said, 1960. It was 1960. Okay, 1960. They didn't have all... They couldn't figure... Back then, they couldn't really figure... You could never do that now. Today, you could never do that now. You could never do that right now. He would have got caught. The first poison, he would have got caught. But anyway, comment below. Let me know how y'all feel about this bizarre story. It's crazy. Something is wrong with this kid. Yeah, I'll see y'all later. Y'all take care. Bye and peace.